Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM23 Lions. This is episode 75. Scouting has finally turned up a talent for the first time in a long time, but realistically, we're still not looking at much. Overall, says he's only going to be a 4-star guy, but it's the all-around, outside of sprint, that makes him intriguing. But one thing in particular, the fact that he can do a bit of climbing and be a bit punchy, and the Bear Door rating good, meaning he'll have good stamina, good flat rating, while having a fairly good cobble rating. Fairly good. Not great. This is not going to win monuments, but it's going to get us from races like in the last episode with Ronde van Vlaanderen, where we barely cracked the top 50. When he eventually develops, he could definitely be a top 25 or maybe a top 10 kind of guy. And could absolutely, with accommodation, climbing-wise, help others along if he himself isn't quite capable of doing a ton. He could be a fantastic number 2 option. We're going to be aggressive today, stage number 3 of the Itzulia Basque country race. 2 little climbs and then 1 finishing climb. It's not a big climb. It's steep. It's going to come at you pretty fast. 24k to go, and we're almost to the point where I want to do something. That finishing climb is 3.6k, but 10% average with a max of 18, easing off at the top for a sprint. So that's a pretty impressive climb on kind of what you're looking at with that one. The breakaway is nearly reeled in. One of the riders right there, the other 4 just around the corner. But as we go through this sprint point, I want to be aggressive today. Even though Josh de Villiers has a -5, despite that, as a team, we still have a positive +6 race day net condition. And overall, that's a +9 from what was expected. Benuna, in particular, was expected to have a -1 because he's only at 88% fitness, but he's ended up with a +2. So really good draws. And our leader, Mason Samuels, has a fantastic +5. So we're going to see what we can do to earn him victory, separate the field, get some time gaps. That's going to require a bold, aggressive strategy, so we'll see what we can do. Josh de Villiers, though, with that terrible race day condition, is left out in the cold, even though he would be fantastic normally for a stage such as this. Okay, starting to get de Villiers out front. Now, it's still 20k to go, so we don't want to go all at once, but there are 2 downhill sections that are going to end up going by pretty quickly. So de Villiers has used up his red bar. Let's go ahead and continue on with his yellow for a little bit longer. Let him get over the first climb here. With the descent, he'll go ahead and get back into an acceleration. Less than a minute behind the front 4. 6k from the top of the penultimate climb. Now just 5k from the summit. Okay, we're going to get Benuna. Ooh, fall for Hindley. That could hurt his chances this late on. He is off the back. Okay, we're going to hit the base of the climb, and Careless is going to take over. Not at a 99, but at about a 96. De Villiers onto the back. 1.7k from the top. We're going to have that descent again for recovery. Jansen and Mutoni both struggling. Still haven't split the field. I'm surprised that didn't create a split, but not everybody's over the top, so it still could. 3 riders left off the front, and there is splits starting to occur. Villiers too far back, 25 now, 6k to go. Okay, getting everybody their red bar back, ready to go. Fix the order now, Jansen. Got a little too punchy on that one. Same for Mutoni, but I want Mutoni, we're going to put at the back. Catching one of the remaining riders off front. Careless done. So 99, he's caught the last two. We are now the front of the field. 3K to go. Gel, gel, and gel. And here comes some others attacking. Carlos just trying to get there on his own now. Set a tempo that I think he can get. Pogacar off the front. Not necessarily worried about taking first position. Just trying to get a strong position otherwise. Janssen, good medium mountain, good pace. His Leknasun comes through. Not hurting his teammates. 1.6K. Front group of 11. And we have 6 of them. Oh, okay, that's it. And, oh, remember, the top eases off. So onto Benuna at his 95. He's going to give us a little acceleration. All he did was get next to Janssen. That's a fail. Okay, on to the 95 for Ashimwe. Leading out Samuels. 600 meters. Samuels to finish it off. All sprint now. All sprint. Samuels, can he get through this thing to crack the top 3? Not quite. Leknasun somehow rode away in that final little bit, which was surprising because he was just right there, but okay. Lost him on those last couple of corners. Leknasun, Gregoire, Pogacar, Lawrence, Fortunato. We do have splits. There's splits right there. So they 100% without a doubt should be given. Lots of splits. Plenty of different time gaps all over the place. It's going to be really good for our position. No, we don't get bonus seconds for the stage, but I got guys littered all over that top 10. 4 of them. Wow, Leknasun gets a time gap, but nobody else is getting a time gap. Okay, they do finally. Matoni was on stage. That whole group was well behind. Well, many bike lengths between them. But they do finally give a gap. 56 seconds to Vlasov, O'Connor, Plapp, all losing time. Globe, Argave, McNulty, Bardet, Moss, Soler. So lots of key riders do lose time, but that was a terrible give on that one, as somewhere around Vingegaard, that whole group should have been losing 40 seconds, 35 seconds. They were very much not in contact. Leknasun moves into the race lead ahead of Arnsman and Ayuso. Ashimwe is up to 11th. Samuels is up to 15th. Matoni's up to 17th. Big breakaway. Big advantage. So big tempo. It's really been pushed from a pretty early stage, enough so that the peloton saw many splits over just light undulation. And some of it came back together, but not all. The ones that are off the back now, it's quite clear that they are not going to regain contact with the tempo that's being set. So there's just 85 left in the peloton. For all I know, there could be contenders caught out in that. Half of my team was caught out in the initial breaks of that, the initial splits, but we're close enough to the front. There was enough firepower still that it brought that back together. The front group is starting to break up. That's a good sign for those of us here that are now having to pick up the pace. This has been hard. It's been hard to keep up, and a lot of energy has been consumed already before we go into the first of 2 not easy climbs to finish this day up, but with a fair descent and a little bit of a flat before the finish. There's a lot of time for small groups to come back together, but big groups getting dropped are definitely not coming back, and we're already seeing the peloton shrink rather rapidly. Just 76 remain. Matoni, -4 draw for him. Rough day. He's going to have to push a little bit harder. Benuna going pretty deep to protect him. De Villiers on his own. Janssen. Carlos fading. De Villiers is going to have to take over on Samuels. Use his gel. Looks like most of these guys are going to make it over the first climb just fine. Not a huge draw today. Not a great draw for us. So this is more of a consolidate, hang on, let others get dropped. And the riders are definitely getting dropped. Are any of them leaders? Can't say yet, but Carlos among 5 that just went out the back. Janssen. Next group getting dropped. Now just 59. Another half a dozen riders right at the back that are just hanging on. Looks like they're going to avoid getting dropped. Benuna sticks around. De Villiers stick around. But Tony's not going to make it today. We need to transfer to Shimway. Matoni, he's going to need to gel up fairly soon. We'll get him following Samuels. All right, now at the front, it's down to just 6, where it was at 15 or 14. 4 more in between No Man's Land falling off the back. But those front 6 are still that 3 minutes ahead, so they have not been caught yet. But the next climb will be a difficult one. They've got a chance to hang on and win the stage. Chance. Recovery. Some. Front 6 are continuing to push. Chasing 4 have pushed to try to chase. Alright, Benuna, De Villiers. Draining pretty quickly. Tony, he's actually going to be the one to run out first. See you later. That makes it 3 for us with 2 stages to go. Shimway. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Time to push tempo, bud. Villiers dropping. Samuels so far has been conserved. We'll let a Shimway get ahead of him here. And then we will follow. Okay, I'm expecting we're going to see some bigger names. 53rd place. Mater. Definitely a big name. Jay Vine. Jack Haig just went out the back. There's Ben O'Connor. He's in the top 20. Here's the top. Sort of. Arnsman, 2nd place overall, is losing contact. He is out the back. Lucha Brooks. Paulus, 5th overall. We got 15 and 14. I don't see any separation in the group, but they are saying we've got 29 left. Chasing a front 5. So it's down from 6 to 5. A Shimway. Gel. There you go. Back together. 29. 26. That's riders going out the back, not making contact. Gap growing behind. So 2 top 5 riders are out. That means there is absolutely 100% without a doubt a chance to keep that pressure on. Keep thinning our group. Shimway finally makes it to the front. And he will lead out this descent to keep the pressure on those behind. Keep our forward progress. This will put a Shimway into the top 10. Samuels, maybe. Top 13 at least. We don't want a Shimway to go complete 0 though. We don't want him losing time. So at some point here, we will want to hang on. That's Pogacar now trying to push tempo as well. He's trying to attack. So it's actually a good thing that a Shimway is pushing on like he is. The 5 left off the front might just hang on. It's one rider that's gone clear here during the descent. Alonso, Leonard Kamna, Adria. Wow, strong breakaway today. Okay, Shimway has recovered a bit. That's going to set him up to make the finish line, no problem. Pogacar again trying to attack. Vingegaard trying to go with him. Leknesund trying to go. Petrovic. It's a very good thing I'm pushing this 99 because it's negating these attacks. They sit up 7K. To the bottom. Easing off though. Samuels. Gel. 5K. He's got to take over. Shimway does not have enough energy to be making this push. We're not going to win a sprint here anyway. So let Samuels do the work and a Shimway get the free toe. those guys gained a few seconds, but that's all. We are gaining a little bit on the front guys because they cannot push very hard. Samuels can go a little harder. It's 2.6k now. Shimway is going to fade here right at the end. Brambilla, 1.6k. Coming back through. 1 kilometer. Samuels and Alonso has taken the win. Breakaway does hang on. I predicted it. I saw it coming. And we've got our small group. We should be on the same time with them. Samuel's beaten in the sprint, but he was positioned well enough. No reason for him to lose any time, but it does look like Ashimwe is going to lose a little bit. That's 19th for Samuels. Ashimwe just behind. Might lose 20 seconds or so. Breakaway riders claim a minute 11 advantage over the chasing pack. Ashimwe gets same time. Oof, lucky there. Minute 47 for Bento. 2:03 for Vlasov, 2:10 for Lafay. Moss comes in 2:43, so they were a minute and a half behind us, where you start getting into a bigger pack. Actually, still not a bigger pack. It's many minutes before you get into a bigger pack. So we got some 1s and 2s behind us, and then a big ol' gap. So that's going to open things up and move us up the standings a fair bit. Not a ton. Lectasud keeps the lead. Ayuso moves up to 2nd. Brambilla up to 3rd. Tullet is 4th. Pagacher, Almeida, Petrovic, Vingegaard. Ashimwe is now 9th. Then Gregoire and Samuels is 1 spot out of the top 10. 2 guys in the top 11 is definitely worth a fair bit of points with a deep field and a race that we did not prepare for. It didn't necessarily bring the strongest team. I mean, we have our strongest rider, but not his strongest support team, all in all. And with the time trial involved, gotta say things are going fairly well. 7 climbs in all on this final stage of the Itzulia Basque Country race, and we have a fairly neutral race day condition. A lot of 0s or 1s out there. Samuels does have a +2. Ashimwe has a -1 as our 2 leaders, and then Janssen on a 0. Now the reason why I brought you in so early on this stage is we're already almost done. It's just 102 kilometers in length. We're already inside 100k to go on this stage, so it's going to be intense from beginning to end. So De Villiers, let's go ahead and protect Shimway. Carolus is already here. Go ahead and protect Samuels. Tony, -1 today, but he's already dropped out of contention in 33rd position. No one has a great draw. In fact, that +2 for Samuels, that's about it. Got a, what, -1 overall as a team? It's neutral, it's fine. But there's a lot of riders trying to break away. Yeah, intensity expected throughout, and you can see it with Shimway, how it's already costing him. I mean, even in 83, he's struggling to hold his position. Samuels is struggling to hold his position on a 79. Really trying to not overdo it on these first 2 climbs. Already down to 82k. We're only going to need to get water once. We've got a healthy gap in between the next climb and the following one to take care of the water. Big break, 19 riders, and a 2-minute advantage. De Villiers, careless. Both nearly done. Oh, Matoni with a fall. And we've lost contact. Field split. None of these guys are chasing. I don't necessarily... Shimway's in the top 10. Shimway is in the top 10. But I don't want him pulling 88 other riders along. Is anybody going to give it a good chase? Is anybody else here? I mean, are we Jumbo Visma, we're doing them a favor by bringing 1 guy back. Lawrence is 18th, but that's down on the standings compared to us. Felix Gall is 31st, 21st. 13th for Plapp. So there's guys here that I really don't necessarily want to bring back forward. Glogue is 15th. There's plenty of contenders in this group. I don't like that more than half my team's back here, but Really don't want to waste our energy helping the others. So meanwhile, Carolus is just about done. No, he's not going to make contact. He's just got to set up. Wow, this is... Well, I knew it was going to be a big stage because it was only 100K. 36 chasing 37. Hopefully they make contact. Samuels is recovering nicely. But we're already down to our 2 leaders, and there's still 3 climbs on the day. And really, I'm down to just my leader. The front has already mostly disintegrated. Actually, it comes back together. 9 riders. So half of the original break. Shimway all alone. Matoni's a minute and a half back. The Shimway's group is just 45 seconds down. Here's that stretch where you need to get water for yourself. A Shimway, it's a small group. Samuels, small enough group. We're now at the halfway stage. It's a good time to take some food. Matoni, minute 20. His group not really closing the gap. It's A3. There's 10 of them. Then 12. Then the 31. 31 have a chance to get back in contact. But I'm guessing there's going to be a number of guys here that you don't necessarily want getting back. It's the same guys. 15th. It's just they're working finally. They realize the threat. I have Samuels up the road. So even though we are potentially giving up 9th and we're the highest ranked guy here, got us still at 21st. We didn't pick up any leaders. The leaders are all still here. Jumbo Visma doing the dirty work. Samuel's looking a little weak. It's got to be the pace. Shimway, yeah, this group's just not pushing as hard. Down to 19 though. Now there's the acceleration in this group. Okay, so now we're a much... The front group dropped quite a few riders. Handful anyway. The front group, let's see, the breakaway had 9. There's now just 4 on the front. So 5 have been absorbed back, either into our group or further back. Then we've dropped about 7, so there's like 12 less around. And then this group dropped by quite a bit. I mean, there was, what, 31? So that's a good 15 smaller, and some could be from that front group absorbed into here. But Shimway is still looking better than Samuels. Lack of flat rating, maybe. Stamina's good today. I'm not sure why he's struggling. I mean, he's only going 8. Tempo was worse here. There's a 2-minute gap now where there was a 1-minute gap. That's your reasoning behind that, why he's struggling. That 1-minute gap meant a lot more energy consumed. 21K to go. Today is a real worry. It's a real worry. Shimway's in a stronger position to go forward, where Samuels is really just trying to hang on. We're down to 3 riders off the front, assuming they are all the break for today. 12K to go overall. Final climbs profile, 5.5K, 8% with a max of 11.6, easing off a little bit at the top. Samuel's very much recovering right now. Shimway's group is pushing hard to chase, so the 2-minute gap is now a minute and a half. And our group is thinning out a little bit, but that means he's not recovering, but he's already looking pretty good. Samuel's, we're going to gel soon. I'm just worried about how much energy he has left, whereas Shimway's looking strong. But it's a minute and a half behind, so how much ground can he cover, you know? Okay, 7%. Last 3 riders. Are we going to see another breakaway victory? Yes, off the front. Okay, Shimway. 6K. What's your strength? Not medium mountain where you're sitting right now. So let's give you a little punchiness. 6K. See if you can climb. The red bar is not going to last too long, but can only push so hard because of the amount of energy he's got. But a Shimway can push that little bit harder. In fact, I think he can get away with that 95. Group's all split up. Lots of splits. Samuel's making forward progress, but very low. He recovers to the front. Let's sit up. Let somebody else take the work. Don't follow those couple of guys. 1.8. 0.6. Okay, 1.7 for you. Final kilometer. Samuels. We get him there. Pogacar, Brambilla go forward a little bit. Samuels uses his last ounce of energy 50 meters before the line, so we did all he could. Pacing that climb when all those guys attacked worked out. As they sat up, we were able to move back forward and get ourselves into a comfortable finish. And meanwhile, Shimway was always behind with this, but he gets 37th on the stage is all. Yikes. Not as good as I was hoping for with him, but that's the thing about extreme difficulty and riding without support. Once you start going solo, you are really working against it, and it became quite clear there. Neither rider able to do much. Meanwhile, the entire rest of the team is really sat up. They're half an hour down. They all ended up in the same group, presumably the Gruppetto. It's an odd place for them to be, but those short, intense stages can be some of the hardest because of the AI bonus attributes that they have. That bonus to their stamina, the bonus they have to those mountain ratings, and the intensity being high from the get-go, right? My strategy, 98% of the time on a mountain stage, is protect and serve, right? Take your leaders and protect them. Conserve their energy for a long period of time so that when you get down to that final stretch, everybody else was already a little bit deeper earlier on, and you have conserved and you have set yourself up for the final climb with maximum remaining. That didn't happen here, right? It was tough from the very, very beginning, and the group was decimated already by this Cat 2 climb, and we ended up solo. 2 riders solo for half the stage. Didn't pan out terribly well. Could have gone a lot worse. Certainly could have gone a lot better. Samuel's 15th, 20 seconds down on Pogacar. Shimway, a minute 39 lost for him. That's definitely going to bump Samuel's ahead. Is he top 10, though? There was a lot of guys missing, a lot of guys absent. Samuels cracks the top 10, exactly 10th place. Shimway drops to 13th. Leknesund keeps the win. Pogacar moves up onto the podium from 5th to 2nd. Brambilla keeps his spot on the podium. Ayuso is the one who's bumped off 4th place. Almeida 5th, Tollett 6th, Vingegaard up to 7th, Petrovic, Gregoire, and Samuels are your top 10. The first gap, really, is to Samuels. It was very close, a few seconds in between each guy, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, a couple of seconds, and then there's a 46 second gap to Samuels. That's the biggest gap up to that point. And then it's close behind him again. 3 seconds, 26 seconds, 6 seconds. The next big one is down to Lawrence in 15th. So for that, we lucked out a little bit. Usually we are on the wrong end of that. I've had so many times in, like, say, Grand Tours where we've been at the polar opposite. We've been the guy who was 52 seconds down in 10th. Right, you are right there. You are right in it. You're literally seconds out of a position, and then there's like a 7-minute gap behind you. Right, you're beating literally everyone back there by a significant margin, and yet you're a matter of seconds away from multiple positions ahead of you. In this case, we're on the flip side of that. We've got guys close behind. We've got a healthy gap in front. And it's the first healthy gap. So I'll take that. I think that's ultimately a win. Race, not great. Not an outstanding performance, but I mean, come on. We're looking at Gregoire, 78, 81, 80. We don't match that. Add that +4. It's at 82, 85, 84. 84 stamina, 84 flat, 86 acceleration, 86 downhill. That's what we're competing with. I'll take that performance with a 78, 76, 75. No bonuses at all through this race. He had one good race day condition draw at one of those stages. He had a time trial. With a 66, 62, 66, 63, 62 overall. Two guys in the top 13, cracking the top 10 as a Continental Pro team. You know, that's always considered a good result. Not necessarily for us. Not necessarily where we're ranked. Right? You'd expect us to do a little bit better. 5th and 8th type thing. But under normal circumstances, and again, not coming in prepared. Not coming in necessarily with our A team, our like 1.5 team, 1.8 team. It's not quite a B team, but definitely nowhere near our strongest. All in all, I'm happy with that result. I think anybody should be. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.